through tonight on Game On. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. It's a really good time. So let's start without wasting too much time. Flag football is probably the fastest growing sport in Africa, believe it or not. From what I have here, a 2023 survey shows an increase of 149% and as much as 85% in Egypt and Nigeria, respectively. So is it safe to say that this is one sport that is primed to take over from football, or soccer as we call it in Africa, in the next few years?
I don't, I had this question asked a few days ago, and I wouldn't say so. I know soccer is way too ingrained in our society, but we will be number two, absolutely. The next few years, definitely, American football will be the second biggest sport on the continent, period. That we can confidently say.
I agree with Mr. President that we still have a lot of work to do. And it's really an honor, to see what is happening in Nigeria. It's an example for other African nations to follow. So quite a wonderful movement, grassroots movement done by NAFA, Nigeria American Football Association, to promote flag football, which is an Olympic sport, getting to 2028. So it's a wonderful thing that is happening here in Nigeria.
Absolutely. And of course, you gentlemen know more than quite a lot of people that flag football is gaining tremendous grounds in Nigeria. There are flag football leagues in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. Some of them are co-ed. We also had a national under-18 flag football competition that happened just recently. NAFA were very much involved in that as well. So it's really great to see how the sport is growing in Nigeria. But the question is, why have you decided to start, from what we're hearing, a strictly women's version of the sport?
So maybe I might need to clarify that.
Okay.
While we are not necessarily starting up a new league, the initiative we're doing, which is called GridironGems, isn't just a league. It's a platform to drive different conversations. And one of the things that we expect to come out of it is not a league per se, but we have an opportunity to showcase female talent at games. So we're looking at like an all-star game that will happen every year, where women from around the country would play for a day or two. I wouldn't call that a league in the traditional sense. And yes, there will be champions that are crowned, but I wouldn't consider it a league. It's just a platform for people still being to express themselves. And just to clarify, remember, you noted that we have our U18 in our Nigeria Secondary School Flag Football League. Women already play separate from men. There are women champions, so we already have a league for just women. So it's not new. We've been doing that since 2020. Okay. So of course, with every year, there's all male teams that play and all female teams also play. It's half and half. So we've been doing that for a while. So we're not reinventing the wheel. We're not just creating this new initiative that allows other people that may or not necessarily be a part of NAFA in the traditional sense, or may not necessarily be American football fans, but can contribute towards the growth of women. Those are that's why we thought this platform is a logical step to do. So we allow people to be mentors, to be able to support these girls beyond the field, also on the field. So that's what the GridironGems initiative that we launched yesterday is trying to strive to achieve.
Well, it's a brilliant initiative because I follow flag football quite regularly, quite closely here in Lagos. And I can tell you as a matter of fact that the women players are probably just as good as the men. Onyechi, you have a question for the guys?
Yes, I'm a little bit concerned about sustainability for this league or this initiative, because we've seen how the United States, they strived so much to make sure that we have the WFA, the LFL, continue, but they've not been able to gain ground. How sustainable can this be? What are the measures that have been put in place to make sure that we sustain this for women's sport?
Okay, good question. And I think fundamentally for us, I should also note that while, as we noted before, we've had activities for women from the jump, since we got our key partner, the Cleveland Browns, through the Browns Nigeria platform. That is what made us know that we've got a committed financial backer that can help us at least sustain it to a certain level. and give it the necessary boost and publicity it needs. And then, of course, leveraging that, we can now bring in other potential partners. But I think for us, as I said, we're not building a league. If it was just a league, then you have to fund the league. Our initiative is expanding the scope beyond what the basic league system would be, which for the most part is the profit-making venture. What we're trying to do here is not a profit-making venture. It's something that is focusing on capacity building, it's focusing on raising awareness, and those sort of activities. And those sort of activities are driven out of people that are passionate about it, one. And then number two, with the target of trying to, expose 150,000 into the game of flag football in 5 years. What we think that provides is the platform for the talent pipeline to allow a lot more engagement. When you have more people that are fans, a lot more people that are trying to get involved with the game, you're possibly bringing in all the potential, what's the word I'll use, fans that want to go watch the sport, whether it's in any of the Lagos leagues or Abuja leagues, and then people are paying money to be able to watch games. And those are one of the many ways we believe that our focus on grassroots development will eventually help create those platforms opportunities that will eventually be financially beneficial to those who key into the potential opportunities that come from it.
Okay. I think that's a fair answer. Wale, you have a question for the gentleman?
Hi guys. I just wanted to also note that I think that the sport is mostly resonating with the Gen Z, which is not a bad thing. I don't think I'm a big fan, maybe because I'm not a Gen Z.
Thank you for your honesty.
Yeah, because it feels like we're trying to force feed the Western sports or the American sports into the Nigerian sports.
It's quite exciting.
No, of course it is. It is. It has its variations: flag, tap, 7v7. I know about all of that, but I know that you also have been recognized by the NOC recently. But what is your relationship with the NSC as well, the Sports Commission?
So, sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, the question is, what is your current collaboration or relationship with the National Sports Commission?
Well, beyond the fact that we've had the initial engagement with the NSC, the first step was that recognition from the NOC. We have already written our letters officially to the NSC, making them realize that our international federation, as you can see, our continental chair is right beside me. International federation has recognized us and the NOC has recognized us. They've only given us some criteria that we need to meet, so that after I've noticed our recognition is provisional. What would delay our official recognition by the NSC is reached. Currently, we're in 17 states. They expect us to be in 24. So we are working towards achieving that goal. Then we are fully fledged, recognized the organization, and we can sit on the board and have decision-making powers. So that is the delay, with why we haven't necessarily met the NSC to see if we're still finalizing, putting our structures in place in another 7 states. But we have the rest of this year to do that, and we will definitely achieve that.
Well, speaking about the rest of the year, Junior, this question is for you. In June, Egypt will host the inaugural edition of the 2025 IFAF African Flag Football Competition. I'm sure you're absolutely excited about that. And looking at LA 2028, where flag football will also make its debut as well, just how enthused are you about how Africa can make a mark on global flag football? Putting in mind that Cameroon was the first African country to actually appear at the global flag football event, just how enthused are you about how well Africa can continue to grow the sport and also make a decent showing at LA 2028?
Thank you so much for that question. It's a very, very pertinent question you're asking right there. It's been a long time coming, and it's about time. That's why many people say it's time for Africa, and you can see the movement around the continent, to grow the sport, develop the sport. Now it's time to compete. We're moving now to the next phase, which is the phase of competition, meaning that the nations that have been building the sports from the grassroots, such as NAFA, now they have that potentiality now to go and showcase what they've been working on over the years. The athlete development portfolio, the accessibility to those athletes to become professional. And remember, it's not just about being an athlete. American football is a culture. It is a way of sports, which includes academics, which includes social. So the James Foundation that was launched a few days ago, also embodies that, and I definitely encourage that. So the excitement is all over Africa. It's the first edition, evidently, and we're going to see from there, what needs to be done. It's going to be a yardstick for us to measure, to see now how to embark on more developmental initiatives across the continent.
There's some major events we held at that particular competition as well. Lots of coaching clinics as well. We heard that some NFL players will be involved, the likes of Bobby Okereke of the New York Giants, who also Nigerian affiliation as well. Minnesota Vikings, Brian Asamoah will be involved as well. So that's really great visibility for the sport. But I need to ask you this final question, gentlemen. You and I both know that NFL flag is pretty much synonymous with one man who also has Nigerian heritage, Osi Umenyora. Now, just how key is NAFA into getting a partnership with Osi, who is obviously the face of flag football for the NFL and also in Africa, getting him to partner with NAFA to ensure that this sport continues to grow here in Nigeria. I know he was part of the flag football competition in Nigeria a few years ago. Yeah. Yes. So, but how key is it for NAFA to get someone like Osi Umenyora tapped in to ensure that this sport continues to explode across Nigeria?
So I can give you some context as to, just for insights, you know that Osi was part of the NFL camp.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he funded NAFA to do the scouting combine to 8 states.
Okay.
To put individuals to one NFL camp. And I believe there's 20 people that made it to camp. 7 of them came from that scouting combine that we did. So,
that's the one that was held at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena a few years ago, right?
Yes, that was last year.
Exactly. So last year, sorry.
Nigeria last year. But it's a little different now because the NFL has this thing called their global marketing program. And the marketing program means once the team has marketing rights in the country, the NFL pulls back, and then that team takes charge of developing sports in that country. And in Nigeria, the Cleveland Browns that's in charge.
Exactly.
Right here. And so therefore, the NFL is not really driving any activity in Nigeria anymore. We expect the Browns to work closely with NAFA to drive activities. Now that said, I know you know that Bobby Okereke, who is basically the ambassador for the Egypt games.
Yeah, true.
We can see this publicly now that Egypt is public. He's actually the general manager for the national team. So we work closely with Bobby. We have meetings with Bobby every week to build out this national team structure for both male and female. And so you can say indirectly, there's this strong connection between Bobby, Osi, and us. But the NFL cannot work in Nigeria like they would last year when there was no global marketing team. So right now, if you're naming names of players that will be working closely with Nigeria, we David Njoku, who is a Nigerian that plays for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
He's somebody that has been working with us. We're expecting him here sometime this year, early next year, to come and assist us with that.
So Babajide, sorry, I just want to know, will we be seeing more of these combined style events, more flag football competitions? That's all I want to see. I want to see flash. I want to see people participating.
The board of advisors for our national team now, there are 15 NFL players down the board of advisors. And every single one of them are looking forward to coming in sometime regularly. Like, for example, you mentioned Bobby. Bobby's funding an expansion into Abia State. A few other players are interested in Imo, and then I can't mention their names yet because it's not yet public. I can speak of Bobby because that's public. And so you start to see a lot of them coming in, running combines, running clinics. Of course, a lot of them are focused on the GridironGems initiative we've done. We have a mandate to run combines and clinics as much as possible that's female focused. But at the same time, we'll also be running a lot more male focused activities too. But our perennial event is in Nigeria secondary school flag football.
True.
And that is the biggest we drive. So.
It's an absolutely fascinating tournament. I covered the last one that happened. Somewhere, I think it was somewhere in the southeast, really great competition.
Yes, it was Calabar.
Calabar, yeah. So congratulations once again to NAFA and all the great work that you guys are doing. And you can be guaranteed that here on Game On, we will continue to support in any way that we can, continue to amplify your programs, and hopefully when you do bring your NFL superstars into Nigeria, hopefully you know where to bring them.
We know how to bring them.
You know exactly where to bring them. Thank you, David, Babajide Akeredolu, and Junior Owasum for coming through tonight on Game On.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Thank you, guys. Wow. Okay. Wale, I know you. I thank you for your confession. You're not a big NFL fan. You're not a big flag football fan. It's okay. But Onyechi, you must admit that there is something going on in Nigeria. It's a movement. It's going on well. Secondary schools across 17, 18, 20 states are involved as well. We've heard that as many as 13,000 new converts to the sport have been basically come up over the last 1 year. Should football be worried?
I think football should be worried at this time.
It's a sport for the younger people, the Gen Zs. They are the ones who are more tapped into it.
And
I think Onyechi actually came here on the show and said his son doesn't play football, plays active flag football.
Yes, the Gen Zs are the ones taking over right now, and if they've got this attention on flag football, you should know that's the next big thing. Out of that 13,000 you did mention, 5,400 were women and girls.
Fantastic.
Who are the beneficiaries of this initiative, and also they are also training coaches. So you know that flag football is not something. Very key.
You always talk about coaching, so that's good.
They are training coaches here, and they are making sure that they have a great initiative that allows for these sports to thrive. That's what they want. They want to shake the world. They want to shake football, like you did say, and I'm hoping that they can with this initiative.
But I also, I have a divergent view here.
Okay.
It might not be about to dress up football. Like Akeredolu said, they need a long shot, right? But I think that what these guys are doing, is backed by a lot of numbers, analytics. They have done their research and realized that Nigeria in Africa has got that market for the sport. True. So what they're doing right now is everyone is trying to mark their grounds, mark their territories, and ensure that when this booms, they already have done well. They've done their groundwork. And by the time the big NFL sides come, for example, we've got Cleveland Browns, they already have the first right of picking out,
cherry picking the very best of the most athletic, most vibrant, strongest, fastest Africans that you can find from a 200 million people market.
The game is not sub-football. You cannot do that.
Okay.
The game is come in here, identify them very young, and when they're very much matured because of coaching, they're exposed, you ship them off to the NFL, and it's good. It's really good for the economy.
So you believe that football still has its own ground when it comes to sport?
Football has been around since the 18th century.
Yes,
the sports won't come, just last year or 2 years ago.
Overnight.
Of course now.
Overnight. But I think football should watch its back because NFL are doing something right. But I think it's something that football can learn from.
I think you guys should probably say that other sports should watch their back.